Welcome to Range of Reality, the podcast where we talk real world personal safety, empowerment, and situational awareness. I'm your host, Jody Salerno. Before I begin this episode, I'd like to tell you about my sponsor. It's my sponsors that allow me to do this podcast, so please support them. If you ever have to defend yourself, the fight doesn't end when the threat is gone. Legal trouble, court cost, lost wages, it all adds up fast. And that's where the United States Concealed Carry Association comes in. They provide award-winning self-defense training and education, but more than that, they've secured liability insurance for their members that helps cover bail, legal fees, and other critical costs after an incident. If you carry or just care about protecting what matters, visit uscca.com and see why peace of mind is part of being prepared. Today's topic is one I'm very passionate about, staying safe on the job as a real estate professional. Because here's the truth. Agents are among the few professionals who regularly meet complete strangers in unfamiliar places, often alone. And while most of those meetings go just fine, there are times when they don't. And that's why we prepare. Remember, safety isn't about fear. It's about preparation and mindset. So let's dive in. Have you ever thought about how unique a realtor's job really is when it comes to risk? As agents, they do things that most professionals would never consider safe. Things like taking strangers into your personal car, walking through vacant properties, meeting people at open houses or after dark, and all with little or no backup. It's not because agents are careless. It's because they have been normalized in our profession. It's just how the business is done. Have you ever looked up the headlines about attacks on agents? A quick web search will show you stories of agents being attacked, robbed, assaulted, right here in Pennsylvania and all across North America. But here's what I want you to know. You can take simple steps to reduce that risk. One of the first things I teach in my class is a concept called levels of awareness. The levels of awareness were designed by a man named Jeff Cooper. He was a United States Marine Corps officer and a firearms instructor. He's the creator of the modern technique of handgun shooting and an expert on the use and history of small arms. The different levels of awareness are color-coded, with white being the lowest, yellow, orange, red, and black. So let's talk a little bit about the different colors. Condition white, you're totally unaware and unprepared. You're not paying attention to your surroundings, and you are vulnerable to potential threats. An example would be you're sitting on your couch at home, late at night, scrolling through social media with headphones on. You're completely relaxed and unaware of your surroundings. You wouldn't even notice if someone walked into the room. Next condition is yellow. It's a relaxed awareness and alertness. You're mindful of your environment and any potential threats, but not yet in a state of high alert. An example would be you're walking through a busy shopping mall. You're relaxed but casually observing the people around you. You're noting exits, watching for anything out of the ordinary. You're prepared to respond if something catches your attention. Condition orange would be the third color. You've noticed a specific alert. You've identified a potential threat and are paying close attention. You're assessing the situation and you're preparing to respond. An example would be while walking to your car in a parking garage, you notice a man lingering around your vehicle, glancing around nervously. You focus on him, mentally preparing to take action if necessary. Perhaps you're going to change your path or getting ready to defend yourself if he approaches aggressively. Condition red, you're focused, alert, and ready for action. You're actively dealing with a confirmed threat and are ready to defend yourself. The man near your car suddenly starts moving quickly towards you with an object in his hand. You drop your shopping bags, you move to create distance, and you get prepared to defend yourself, either physically or you deploy a self-defense tool. You're no longer in a decision-making phase. You're actively responding. The highest alert threat level would be black. You're overwhelmed at this point and you're unable to respond. This state is characterized by panic and the inability to act effectively. Black is sensory overload. You're going to panic, you're going to freeze. In the same parking garage, the man attacks you suddenly. You freeze in place, unable to move or think clearly. Panic takes over and you can't take purposeful action. You're mentally overwhelmed and ineffective at this moment. You never want to get to code black. Your goal is to live in yellow most of the time. That gives you the ability to move to orange or red if needed. And like I said, you want to stay out of black. Let's break this down into parts of your day and where you can apply safety thinking. When was the last time you really looked at your office's safety? Things you want to check. Are the entry doors secure? Can anybody just walk in and out of your office, or do they need to be buzzed to be let in? Who knows that you're there after hours? Are the parking lots well lit? If something happened, do you have a way to call for help? And is there a written emergency plan in place for your office and for staff? How about if you use your car as a mobile office, as many realtors do? How secure is it? Of course, you want to keep your valuables out of sight. And when you're parked, you want to stay alert, especially if you're sitting in a car working. Be aware of what's going on around your car. You want to be able to see people that are approaching your car. You always want to park in a visible, populated area and make sure that your doors are locked at all times. How about if you're out door knocking or you're doing open houses? How do you prepare for that? Well, my suggestion would be to work in pairs if possible. How do you prepare for an open house? You want to know the crime statistics of the neighborhood. So ahead of time, look at the crime statistics so you know that what you're dealing with. You should not only just do that for open houses, but you should do that for whenever you're showing a home, whether it's yours or another realtor's. And when you're parking, you want to back into the parking spot. You want to park with the front of the car facing out. It's a lot easier to get out of a parking spot going forward than it is going backwards. When you're doing your open houses, have someone else right there with you or nearby. Know where all your exits are. When you first get to that home, you need to be aware of where all the exits are before that open house even begins or before your client even shows up. Keep your phone on your person, not in a purse across the room. You want to meet the visitors at the door. What you want to do is watch out for anyone that is splitting off from other people or lingering in rooms. When closing up, check doors and windows. Thieves sometimes unlock them to return later. What is your protocol when showing a home to a new client? Do you meet them at your office first? You want to copy their ID and note their license plate. You want to tell someone where you're going and when you expect to return. And during the showing, let the client enter the room first. Keep yourself between them and the exit. When you show up to a new property, do you just walk right up to the front door and open the door and walk in? Or do you scan the property first? Do you walk around the perimeter? That would be a best practice because now you're looking for broken windows, doors that are open, windows that might be open, anybody that could be in that home. What personal safety tools do you carry? And if you do carry them, what do you train with? At a bare minimum, you want your cell phone fully charged and make sure you know the emergency features that that cell phone offers. If you're going to carry pepper spray, practice with it. Know how to use it. Stun guns and other tools are very nice in theory. If you choose to carry a stun gun, know the law and train with it. Know if you can even carry it in that location. Look, I'm not a proponent of stun guns unless it's a stun gun that will shoot the probes at the attacker. I would not want to have to be arm's length with the attacker and have to touch him with a stun gun. I'm not a very big proponent of stun guns at all. The reason for that is I would rather use either pepper spray because I can stay away from them far, or a firearm. People in general should train with a firearm. That is your only equalizer. They do have a product now that they've come out with. It's called a burn-a-gun. So it's the size of a firearm, looks just like a firearm, but instead of shooting live ammunition, it shoots pepper balls. So for someone that's not comfortable with a firearm, they haven't trained enough yet, or they're not comfortable with the idea of carrying a firearm, I would suggest getting a Byrna firearm because, like I said, it's still a firearm. You can still keep your distance, but it's going to shoot pepper balls. Again, though, you have to train. You still need to know how to use your sight so you can hit your target, and you still need to know where to aim that pepper ball so that you get the most effect from that shot. And lastly, keys can be used as a defensive pitch. Again, I'm not a big proponent of using keys as self-defense. There's a very good chance that you can break your wrist by using keys. You see that all the time where you carry the key. between your index finger and your middle finger. Last resort, if that's all you have, yes, you can gouge someone's eyes out with it. You can hit the different pressure points with it. But like I said, especially women, a lot of times we don't have the strength and you're going to just end up breaking your wrist instead. But remember, the best tool is your brain. Your awareness and your preparation is what matters. How much personal information do you realtors share? How about online, on flyers, or on your business cards? The answer to this is less is better. Use a business email and a business phone. Avoid posting real-time locations on social media. And you want to change your passwords regularly. When you're printing your brochures or your flyers or your business cards, pay attention to what you have on. You want to look professional. You don't want to call attention to yourself as a potential target. You don't want to overdo it on the jewelry, especially expensive jewelry. Keep your expensive jewelry off of the business cards. Additionally, purses. Keep the Louis Vuittons out of sight. There's no reason to have those on your flyers, business cards, or anywhere online. What's the one mindset shift that I want you to take away today? That safety isn't about fear, it's about preparation. By making awareness a planning habit, you'll feel more confident, not more afraid. I hope today's episode has given you some new ways to think about your safety as a real estate professional. If you take nothing else away, remember this. Stay aware, trust your intuition, have a plan, and keep training. Remember, safety isn't about fear. It's about preparation and mindset. If you'd like to dive deeper, I offer a full Realtor personal protection class. You can visit me at rangeofreality.com to learn more or to register. Safety isn't about fear. It's about freedom through preparation. Any product that you hear me discuss on this podcast can be found and purchased on my Amazon page. Additionally, I have products that are my personal favorites in terms of personal safety. Check the link in my description. Please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Don't forget to support my sponsor, United States Concealed Carry Association, USCCA.com, or on my website, rangeofreality.com. Until next time, stay strong, stay aware, and keep training.